Hey everyone, it's Dominic from the... wait a minute. I'm going to stop you right there. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you think you know what I'm going to say, right? It's Dominic from the Primetime Treasure eBay store and YouTube channel. Problem with that, it takes forever to say, all right? And I'd like something that's shorter, that gives me more of a name that I can market and use for the company. The company name is going to stay the same, Primetime Treasure. Okay, that's the name of my eBay store and the YouTube channel. So I'm going to keep that. That's not going to change. But I need more of a moniker, kind of a name I can use for myself. So, and don't worry, we're going to get into content of this video in just a second. But I just want to throw this out there so you can actually hear how it sounds out loud with me actually doing it. I like to do market research before I make decisions like this because it's a big, important decision. Now, I have a poll on this. If you want to weigh in on the poll, where we're officially tabulating things, that is at my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. The link to that's down below. But let me throw these different options out for you. So we've got, hey everyone, it's Dominic, the Primetime Picker. That's one. Hey everyone, it's Dominic, the Primetime Flipper. Number two. Hey everyone, it's Dominic, the Primetime Hustler. That's number three. And number four is the last one. Hey everyone, it's Dominic, the Primetime Treasure Hunter. So we've got that one. Which one do you like? Let me know that in the comment section down below. You could expand out a little bit. If you have another option you want to add in there as another possibility, you could throw that out too. But remember, I'm not trying to rename my business. It's staying as Primetime Treasure. It's not going to change. I need to be Dominic the Primetime. Boom. We got to hit it. We got to nail it right there. So there's four options right there. Those are the main ones. But who knows? Maybe someone else out there has another one. In fact, we originally started with Primetime Picker, Primetime Flipper, and the Primetime Hustler. But then one of the group members suggested the Primetime Treasure Hunter. So I like that one, and I put that in late as part of something you could vote for. So that one, if you see right now, doesn't have as many votes. It's kind of misleading because I did not have that in the original vote count. So if you like that one, make sure you give it some love and put a little vote in there for it. But anyway, let's jump into the topic of today's video, which has to do to an alternative to Styrofoam. Now, I like Styrofoam in the sense that it does offer good protection when you're shipping out fragile items that you really need to protect, or if you just have space in a box that you need to fill up, the Styrofoam can be really helpful. The problem is, if you don't go out and purposely purchase strips of Styrofoam that you could use for your business, then what you are usually using is leftover Styrofoam pieces that you found somewhere. Maybe you found it in a big box of, maybe you bought a new TV and you have Styrofoam strips associated with that, or some types of, electronics, or it could be something you purchased yourself that was fragile and some Styrofoam came along with it. But it's usually, when you find it, it's usually in some kind of customized, form, because you can sculpt it easily if you are a big business. However, individually trying to sculpt it, it can be done, but if you're not familiar, especially if you're new, you actually have to go out and buy Styrofoam wire cutters, in which you actually heat up. So it does pose technically a fire risk if you left it out and weren't attending it, and it was near like another piece of paper. Something else can catch fire. But what you would do is just basically sculpt the Styrofoam however you want with the foam wire cutter. So a lot of people do that and are successful with it. And if you do that and you like it, go ahead. But if you don't want to invest in the wire cutters, if you don't want to do all that sculpting and stuff like that, I'm going to give you another option in a moment. Now, another thing that's a con about the Styrofoam is that if you don't have the wire cutters, it could really be messy and a pain in the neck to try to make it fit. Like, for example, let's just say, let's say I have this small little flat rate priority box. And let's say I have something fragile in here and I want to make sure that I protect the space on the side so that, any kind of taps or things like that to the side don't damage the actual product that I have in here, which, you know, I would have surrounded by bubble wrap anyway, but I want to put some, you know, some blocks on the side, some padding on the side. Now, you could put paper in there if you want to, of course, and you could cushion it up that way. You could take some bubble wrap and stick it in there. You know, if you had an extra piece of bubble wrap, you could put in there. There's other options you could use besides Styrofoam, but let's just say you wanted to use the Styrofoam. If we had this piece, this was all that was left. It's not big enough to fit in here, as you can see. So I would have to cut it, and I would have to trim it. So I would have to try to take, like, for example, these little nubs here off on the side. So I'm gonna have to go like this, and it can cut, but as you'll see, it's, you know, it's not the easiest thing in the world to cut. Plus, it winds up eventually getting messy, where I start to have these little pieces that start falling all over the place, especially if you then try to cut like a bigger thing. Like you try to cut this thing in two, it really could start to get messy. So I'm gonna cut this. Here we go. Or if you break it. Now see, I start to have more and more, I'll show you right here. I start to have more and more of these pieces that start going all over the place. And depending on how much you're cutting, this stuff could really add up and could really be a pain to clean up. It's not the easiest thing in the world to clean. So, you know, it doesn't exactly scoop up super easily. So, for that reason, and there's actually a third thing about the Styrofoam. If you wind up finding them in, you know, much bigger blocks than these little pieces, the problem with it is that it's really a pain in the neck to store. In fact, when I was doing my cleaning down here recently, where I was getting rid of the all those boxes that were built up, another thing that my wife, Mrs. Primetime, much props to Mrs. Primetime, who will be in the live chat, by the way, on November 7th. So if you want to interact with her, make sure you come by, interact with her in the chat. But she wanted me to get rid of the Styrofoam because there was just so much of it laying around, and it was just hard to store. I tried putting it in like a big oversized garbage bag, you know, like something like this, you know, a big bag like this, and you know, it just wound up taking up a lot of space. And so I just wound up taking it and tossing it. Didn't want to deal with it anymore. So Styrofoam can be challenging to work with for all those different reasons. Don't get me wrong, it definitely has advantages in terms of really doing a good job in terms of protecting things once you could get your item around it, and it does provide a bunch of bulk that it takes up in your box, in your package, while being light and not adding a lot of weight. However, I unintentionally came across what I think is a terrific alternative to Styrofoam, and this, again, this wasn't planned at all. What happened was I was in Bed Bath & Beyond, and I was looking by their store, and what I noticed is that they were disposing of this giant roll of foam. Now, when I say foam, I don't mean Styrofoam, but let me show you what this is. And I just took it because they were throwing it away in the garbage. This was not literally any garbage, but they were going to throw it away and get rid of it. And I noticed it, and I'm like, I'm just going to, you know, grab this because I could probably do something with it. So here's what I found. Look at this thing. This is a giant roll of foam, okay? So you gotta, you know, when you're out there, even if you're not, you know, doing your picking or you're not sourcing, wherever you are, especially if you're at stores, you know, look around and see if there's something that someone's getting rid of that you think that you can use. So originally when I grabbed it, I said, you know, what I could probably use this for is if I have like a ceramic or something like that, I want to protect it, I could roll it around in this, and that will you know, help keep it nice and padded and protected. And while I certainly could still do that, when I came home and started working with it a little bit more, I realized that there's another option for it. So you could see here what I did is I cut out a little strip, and I'm just going to put it up here for a second to show you actually how easily this cuts out. So I'm just gonna, now to cut it out, if you just have a regular pair of scissors like this, you got to upgrade. This is not going to cut it, folks. You need to upgrade anyway if you just have these little scissors. highly, highly, highly recommend graduating up to the shear scissors. These things are incredible. I mean, it's like a great white shark. It cuts through practically anything. If you want to get it, it's not expensive. It is in my description section. Just scroll down. You're going to see all my shipping supplies. This one is one of my most, valuable tools that I use on a daily basis. I really, really can't function effectively without it. So it cuts through cardboard real easily, and as you'll see here, it cuts through the foam really simple. So just go check that out. And I do get a little affiliate commission through any purchases that you make through that description section. They're all Amazon links, so it helps support the channel a little bit if you purchase that or anything through one of those links. But anyway, let me go here and show you. So let's just say I want to cut out like a little wedge again. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go like this, and I just cut. Easy. You can hear how easy it is, how easy it cuts. I'll show you like this. Now that I got that little wedge right down like that, all I do is just cut through. Just goes like that. Simple. Look at that. 1, 2, pretty much. That's it. Now I've got my little foam wedge. And you'll notice, being foam, unlike the Styrofoam, let me put this down for a second because we're not going to need this giant roll. Okay, we'll just use this little one for a second. Unlike the Styrofoam, which is hard, see? Obviously, you've all used Styrofoam before. Okay, plus not only that, another thing about this, a pain in the neck, how many people out there have used Styrofoam and it cracks easily like that, and now you've got those little pieces, kind of rolling around and stuff, and you gotta, it goes fluttering away, and you gotta find it, and you gotta grab it, and now you've got something that doesn't look nice. With this, it just compresses in really nicely. See that? Kind of like memory foam in a mattress. It just, so you could just press it in like that, which the good thing about that is for the box, okay, this, you're not going to be able to fit in there unless you, again, cut it and trim it and stuff like that, and then you eventually kind of wedge it in. So you can do it, but this is much better. So we could just take this and we could just cut this into little strips. So I could just, now I could just go like this if I want to, and I could make a nice customized block for the box. So, I could just take it, I could just put it right like this. See? And now, obviously, there's a little bit of overhang, so you could just cut it down to size like that. So I'll just, pull it out. Just show you how easy it is to work with. Just one little cut, maybe two. And now I put it in here again. And I've got my wedge right there. Okay? And if you want to make it look nicer on the top, just turn around. There we go. We've got a wedge here. Let me just close the box again. And, we could just make a nice little wedge on the other side as well. Just, again, show you how simple this is to cut. Just like that. And now I've got a wedge here. So you could use it for small packages like this. You could use it for medium-sized boxes. You could use it for large boxes, whatever you would like. It's fully customizable. It doesn't make any mess. So if you look over here, you do not see any residual in terms of any small pieces of it that fall off. But you will find little pieces, again, of the Styrofoam. The more you work with it, the more messy this is going to get and beat up and become a real pain in the neck to clean. So you're not going to have to deal with any of that. The other thing is, for the main roll of it that you're using, it's easy to just, as I just mentioned, roll. You could roll it up and you could store it very simply, as opposed to those giant big clunky pieces of Styrofoam that could be really awkward in terms of being able to store it. This is especially true if you have limited space available. So that is definitely a better option for you. Now, I was fortunate enough to get this for free, and it was just unexpected, but eventually that's going to run out. Although it will last a while, at some point it will run out. And I am, from having used it now for a little bit, I could tell you I'm going to want to use it again. So when that runs out, I said, where am I going to find something like this? So what I did a little research, I looked, and these actually are available to purchase at Amazon. You could get a pretty big roll of it for $39.99. it seems like it's more cost effective than going out and purchasing wedges or blocks of styrofoam. So it's something to consider. Now, if you have a business where you use a ton of styrofoam, and you know of a place that you could get that cheaper and you're comfortable with sculpting it and using it, by all means continue to do what you're doing. I just want to put this out there as another option because I personally find the styrofoam to be a pain to work with. When I have a wedge or a piece that fits exactly, it's great. But this, once I started cutting and trimming and everything, I said, wow, this is so simple. I would love to use this if I could continue to do so. And so I was glad to see there's an option out there. Now, there might be a place other than Amazon that offers it for even cheaper. And if you know of that, definitely link that down below or let me know that down below and, put the name of the store or something and we could all go check it out together. But again, just wanted to pass this tip on to you and I hope that you find it helpful. A lot of you are really making me feel good by leaving comments down below from other tip videos, and you're telling me that things that you have taken from these videos have really helped you out with your business, and that's awesome. That's the main reason that I'm doing this is to pass on bits of knowledge and to help you out. So certainly if you find that you start to use something like this and it's helping you in your business, definitely let me know that down below. Make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, pass this channel on to your friends, anyone who you know who does reselling, because I have really just tried to grow this channel through word of mouth. I think that's the best form of advertising. I don't pay for advertising, I don't pay for followers or anything like that. Everything is on the up and completely legit and 100% organic. So that's why I'd like to continue to do that. But to do that, I do need your help to pass the word around about the channel if you find it helpful. Over 245 videos dedicated to helping resellers I've done that in about 10 to 11 months. So, that's a lot of content out there, and I hope that again, that there's something in there somewhere that has been helpful to you, or if you're brand new, that's going to help you. Make sure you go back, check some of my playlists out, check some of the other videos out. And lastly, make sure you come to my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center, and follow me on Instagram at prime_time_treasure. There's no S at the end. You will find exclusive content there that's not at my YouTube channel. So for example, yesterday I did not do a YouTube video because I just had too many other things going on, but I did make an exclusive video clip during the day to talk about how to lay out long posters that tend to curl up and furl up and how to get it displayed nicely so you could take your photos. That's something I did exclusive to there. So go check that out. Plus, I love to interact with all of you through the Instagram app, so that's another place besides the Facebook group where we could have a little dialogue. So hope to see you there, and I will see you at the next video as well. Take care, everyone.